it's on. Boom, boom, boom. Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Today, it's another episode of, you know it, and I love it, of the In Your Face show. And today is the 154th episode of the show. On our way to 200. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Damn, I'm going to celebrate. So, I have something very special for y'all today. And, you know, I would like to introduce you to y'all Mr. Jason Cardona and Mr. Randy B. Haskins. Introduce yourselves, my brothers.
Jay?
Oh, me? Yeah, my name is Jason Cardona. I've been a student of Shaolin and Eagle Claw Kung Fu since September 1995. Most of my work comes from private security, about 5 years, adults and children's corrections. I've done on and off bail enforcement for about a good 3 to 4 years. And right now, I've been a constable in Massachusetts for about 10. And right now, I drive trucks all across the United States and Canada. And I'm also, up-and-coming filmmaker and founder of Martial Enlightenment. You're soon to be one stop for martial entertainment.
My name is Randy Haskins. And I've been a student of the martial sciences since 1976. I run the Underground Alliance Martial Science Research Association, published author, 2 books, Insight 101, The Way of Big Power, came out in 2012, and Martial Advice for Training and Living, The UA Way, came out in 2020. Currently writing my 3rd book called Underground Alliance, The Exception to the Rule. And I'm a retired corrections officer, and I worked doing some bounty hunting and all types of private security and things like that.
Okay. So we have some questions for y'all today. Okay. So what made you get into mixed martial arts, Mr. Jason Cardona?
Well, I mean, I used to get in trouble a lot, you know, so I've had anger issues, and not to mention, as the youngest of 5 children, I've had the opportunity, unlike most people, to be able to observe and learn from the mistakes of my siblings. So I noticed that, getting in trouble with the law wasn't going to be my thing. So I decided to get into martial arts in order to control my anger. And, or at the very least, be able to use my anger in a certain way that would produce a more positive outcome.
Awesome. So, Mr. Haskins, what about you, Mr. Haskins?
When I was younger, a good friend of the family, we call each other cousins, kicked me, and I was highly impressed with his skill. And I started asking questions about what he was doing. He was a student of Taekwondo at the time, and I was intrigued. So I embarked on a mission to find what he had. So I went to a couple of different schools, karate schools, and found the one that best fit me, and I never left. And that was 47 years ago.
You know, and for the record, y'all hit hard as hell. Y'all hit hard as fuck. I got hit by one of my friends, man. This guy is a mixed martial artist. This nigga hit me hard as fuck. I'm like, damn. Knocked the wind out of me, but he was like, I'll hit you light. It was like, nigga, nigga, it felt like you hit me with a brick or something. Nigga, he hit me, boom. I'm like, and he was like, bro, in order to hit a person, you got to be able to put your power into it, but not trying to hit them is a good hit. You see what I'm saying? But I'm like, I didn't understand it at first. Maybe y'all could elaborate on that.
Well, let me tell you this. A lot of people hit hard. Very few people hit correctly. Okay? Hitting
Hmm.
correctly or getting hit hard, two different dynamics.
Okay, okay.
It's striking is about transferring your center into that target through whatever limb you are going to hit them with. And it's very important that you understand that we want to deliver relaxed heaviness, not muscular strength. There's a different energy when you get hit with relaxed heaviness. Totally different
Right,
dynamic, you know? And
right,
relaxed heaviness doesn't have a gender attached to it, an age, a size attached to it, but physical strength has a gender, has an age, has a size attached to it.
right. And I've always wondered, right? Like, I've always wondered, like, the small guys are the ones that you got to look out for because the big guys, because like I always was taught, big guys they hit hard, but the smaller guys, nigga, they'll knock you out quicker than a big guy would. And I've noticed that, and I'm like, how do, okay, what I'm trying to say is, how is it that a smaller guy can hit that hard and not be able to, and like not break his hand on your jaw when it looks like, when it like, the big guy got all the muscle and all of the strength, and he like hits you and he don't knock you out.
Because, first off, size doesn't mean that you can transition your energy into a target, you know? Uh,
Right.
as well as a lot of people with size think that their strength actually really matters, so they deliver with tension, muscular tension, which is restricting their ability to transition their energy into the target. Where when somebody can relax through it, just think, they said that Bruce Lee was a very small guy, he's like 140 pounds or something like that, but he hit extremely hard. He felt like a
Wow.
building was landing on you when he hit you. You know,
Damn.
it's it's simple
Damn.
ability to relax and deliver that
I
relaxed heaviness.
I cry like a little girl
Right.
as soon as I get hit by
Yeah.
it.
Think of I mean, think of the big guy having hands, right? They have big hands, correct?
Hmm.
So those big hands, especially like you were saying, it's restricted by by certain tension and everything else. Um, as far as smaller people are concerned, you'll see that they hit, like let's say here, a big man, my chest, right? This much.
Right.
Now, a well-placed strike from a smaller guy is smaller, kind of like a bullet.
Uh
It's
huh.
able to penetrate through. And at the same time, like Randy was saying, when you punch correctly with the relaxed, with the relaxed power, and think of it as a bullet that had nothing holding it back. It just goes,
Right.
you know.
And they
So
hit
that's
with speed. They hit with
right.
speed and
So,
power. Right. Instead
right,
of like a big person, they hitting with raw, with just power, not that speed, not that like agility. I get what you're saying. You know what I mean? And like the day that I got a question, and I know you know this guy, China McCoy. That's where I know you. I know you from Warbane. From Warbane, I
China
watched
McCoy, yes, yeah,
I
good
watched
guy.
some of his stuff. He's actually my mentor. He's actually my big brother in the business,
Mm,
in the comic business and everything.
right.
And me and him, I knew him for 20 years, going on 20. You know what I mean? And me and him, we were close. And like, I've always watched him do his mixed martial arts, and like he's like a smaller guy, and like when I looked at the bigger guys that he was fighting, they look like his hitting his punches look like as if he was moving like fast as fuck, like you couldn't really see his hands. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And like as I'm looking at him, I'm like my eyes couldn't keep up with him, and I'm like he's moving, but it's like he's not moving at all, but he's moving. You know what I mean? And I'm
Mhm.
like, what? Like it looked like it's like from that movie like when he's doing like when Bruce Lee is doing like that, but he's
Yeah.
moving in a faster pace, but he's not moving in a faster pace when you look at it. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, how do they do that? And that's what got me interested in mixed martial arts. I've been watching mixed martial arts all my life. MMA, like Bruce Lee, man, like I've always wanted to learn that because, you know, I've always never like had self control when it comes to my emotions. Like I've always tried to control my emotions, but it's like something takes over me, and like when I'm angry, it's like, boy, I can't stop. I can't stop like hitting. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
one thing I learned is that, you know, I never learned how to control my emotions. I never learned how to control my rage or anger. You know what I'm saying? I learned as I got older, but when I was younger, every fight I got into, it's like blackout, 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 blackout. You know, and just keep on going, keep on going. But um, is there like in mixed martial arts, you know, what are the things that you love, and what are the things that you hated about it that made you that make you feel like it should change, it needs to change?
Well, I'm a traditional martial artist. You know, Randy himself is as well. You know, he's very good at his craft when it comes to the judo and karate. Um, so as far as mixed martial arts is concerned, is me personally, I have no problem with it. That's because a lot of how can I put it? A lot of schools, you know, they don't focus a lot on any of the on the combat side of it. So mixed martial arts without going to jail is one of the best ways to, you know,
Wow.
where you get to do
Yeah.
sparring and actually compete, doing full contact and stuff like that without going to prison. You know, if I was to try that at a regular traditional martial arts school, well, we'll be in trouble. You know,
Right. Like, what are the things like, you know, what are some of your accomplishments that you've accomplished over the years that you are most proud of? And that's the question for both of you. You can go first, Mr. Cardona.
uh, well, the fact that I was able to use martial arts to my benefit when everything else has failed. You know, try to get into law enforcement. My hearing, you know, I have a hearing impairment. They'll let me do anything else volunteer. But they, but as far as hiring me, the last time I tried to get into law enforcement was, and I went for ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement. I passed everything but the hearing test. Nobody's willing to sign a waiver, so that's when I decided to move on to something else and constableship. And another time when there was an incident where I lost everything, and I ended up having to live in China for like a year. Um, Basically, the concept of martial arts moved me forward to continue. How can I put it? Not stay down. In other words, at the lowest point of my life at that time, it helped me keep moving forward. You know, with determination, come up with different ways to get things done, and you know, so that's how I started Martial Enlightenment as a program for people as well, for you know, to basically help people that want to do the same thing I was doing, and not to mention for entertainment as well. Good entertainment for martial artists by martial artists, which is a good thing. Uh, Mr. Haskins.
The martial arts is not something I do, it's who I am. It's my entire existence. And everything that it has afforded me, from working corrections and traveling the state of Massachusetts, teaching defensive tactics curriculum that I wrote for the Mass Sheriff's Association. Uh, I was the instructor trainer for the state of Mass. All the people I've met in this fraternity we call the martial sciences, I would have never met in any other activity, including Mr. Cardona. Um, I've traveled to Japan, selected to go to Japan, fight in a tournament, and do some training as a result of my martial education. The books I've written, I've traveled across this country teaching different seminars and things. It's just so much. The lessons and what I offer my family, whether it be my daughter, my grandchildren, my fiance, just all the things I'm able to provide for them, including this house, which my dojo is in this house. Just everything that I am is because of my art.
Wow. You know,
So long story short, long story short, to us, martial arts, martial arts is everything to us because the concepts of it and everything about it, we can incorporate into all aspects of our lives, whether it's our jobs, whether it's in speaking with people, even if you want to get into politics, you can use it, as well as to finances and everything else. So, love it.
okay. Have you bumped into people that took it as a joke, and how did you handle it?
That's a rough. I can tell you this. Like I said, everything I am, this symbol, I spent a lifetime establishing this symbol, which is the Underground Alliance
Okay.
symbol. And anybody who sees it within within the martial landscape understands what it is. And there are people who don't. I can tell you this: nobody takes martial arts as serious as I take it. All right, and there are a lot of non-believers out there, and I pride myself on making believers out of non-believers. Everybody that has ever came towards me as a non-believer and wanted to prove what I do invalid, they have all fall victim to the same fate, which is they all went to Bay State Medical Center.
Yeah, it's a Bay State Hospital, Massachusetts.
And got their ass whipped. I figure. But basically slang for you got your ass whipped. Basically. You know what I mean? Let's just say that. Yeah, we ain't gonna lie. This ain't your face show, baby. Say what you want to say. You know what I mean? But
doing it is another thing.
Go ahead. Hey.
Oh yeah.
I'm at the floor.
Yeah, like you were saying. I mean, they can say what they want to say, but doing it is another thing. I mean, people in the martial world, when you say that something is when somebody tells you as a martial artist that what you're doing is invalid, you're basically challenging that person to a fight. There's no info bust about it. You know, I mean, that's what it is. Oh, what you're doing sucks. Really? Okay, prove it. Let's go. You know, there's no point in arguing online because all they're gonna do is, like, let's say, you know, I do Chinese martial arts. So people, what they do is they claim that I'm running around, you know, jumping around in pajamas, throwing my feet and hands in the air, making noises with my mouth, all kinds of other dumb shit. So, you know, so when I tell them, okay, prove what I'm doing is false. Oh, so they send me videos of other people that supposedly do the same style that I do. You know, and that's another thing that we talk about in a minute. But, you know, so I'm like, that's not proving anything. That's not me. I tell you what, I'm taking a load. Where do you live? Texas? What part of Texas? Okay, I'm taking a load to Laredo, Texas. I can meet you there. And we can do it. Oh, martial arts is not for fighting. I'm like, what? Are you serious? You know? I mean, Randy can attest. I mean, in the old ways, when you say something doesn't work, that's a fight. Simple as that. So for example, best example would be in China. There was some Tai Chi masters and stuff like that saying it can beat anybody and stuff like that, including MMA people. Yes, including special MMA people. You have a low-grade MMA fighter who probably practiced for like 3 years. Okay, cool. He took him up on the offer, on the challenge. Guess what? That MMA fighter right now, due to the China's social credit system, he can't get a job anywhere.
Wow.
And stuff like that. Yeah, he beat them up that badly, and they lost a lot of faith.
Wow.
Because they weren't about that life. They want to talk about it, but as far as being about it is a totally different story.
I've been around some people that are so humble and so quiet, and I've actually became friends with them rather than challenge them. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them would always tell me, I'm afraid to fight. Just like I'm afraid to fight. But they was like, I'm really afraid to fight because I can kill somebody. Just one hit. One hit or just... And I did not know. Somebody told me you could get your hands is registered once you start, or when you're in mixed martial arts for a long while.
There's no such thing as a registry. No such thing.
No such thing?
No.
Oh, okay. I got wrong information. Yeah.
Now, there are organizations that exploit that lack of knowledge, and what they do is they sell registration cards to unsuspecting people. But there is no such thing as a registry. That is just a fallacy.
Yeah.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Hands are registered as dangerous weapons.
Now, what some people consider that is if anyone who has a martial background, even a military background or something like that, when you get arrested, all that stuff goes in your file. And if they have to make wanted posters about you or something like that, all that stuff will come out. All that information will come out. Proceed with caution, trained martial artist, or whatever it might say. Very violent, military background, special forces, whatever it is. So people try to use that as they're registered or something like that, as well as people selling that fallacy by making up registration cards and selling them when they promote somebody to black belt. Give me another $500 and I'll register you. That type thing.
Yeah, like, question. Okay. Where do you feel mixed martial arts or martial arts, where it was years ago, do you think it evolved to something bigger, better, or do you think it's like it devolved?
All right. Good question. The martial arts itself is, people talk about change all the time, that change needs to happen. Okay. But, and with martial arts, let's say 2,000 years old or whatever, right? Everything has its own time span or whatever, but let's say 2,000 years, 500 years, 100 years, whatever it might be, whatever system it is. And they say that mixed martial arts is the newest representation of that, right? But martial arts doesn't have to change or evolve. It doesn't have to do that because the human body hasn't changed or evolved since man's inception. We're all born with 2 arms, 2 legs, and 1 head, right?
Okay.
The only time martial arts has to evolve, karate, Aiki-Jujutsu, Judo, whatever, is when somebody's born with 6 arms, 9 legs, and 3 heads. Once that change happens, then it has to change, because the martial arts are designed to attack the anatomically weak aspects of the human body. And since the human body has been the same since man's creation, it doesn't have to change. People just need to understand it. Most people doing martial arts, teaching martial arts, don't understand the human body, don't understand their art and what it's designed for or how it's designed to be used. So that's why a lot of people look down on arts like Aikido and Karate and all this other stuff, and they look at mixed martial arts, which is very, very generic in nature. You understand? So what do I mean? What do I mean by the martial MMA is generic in nature? By no means am I trying to disrespect MMA. I'm just talking facts, right? So the art of karate is broken down into 5 parts. Okay, 5 parts. The 5 parts are: the first section of it is a beginner part. The first 2 sections is beginner. That's punching, thrusting, striking, and kicking. That's the first phase of karate training. The second phase is tegumi. Tegumi is Okinawan grappling / wrestling. That's beginner level. Okay. The next 2 are intermediate level. That's loading, tripping, reaping, and sweeping. And then joint manipulation, pressure point application, muscle and tendon disruption. Vital point attacks, vital area attacks. And then the last phase, number 5, is kabuto, or ancient ways, like weapons and things like that. So that's karate broken down in 5 parts. Most people's karate or art is stuck in one phase: the punching, thrusting, striking, kicking. Hence why when people think karate, they think punching and kicking, and not joint manipulation, not throws, not all this other stuff. So mixed martial arts is pretty much stuck in, they take up boxing for punching, they take up kicking, a little bit of kicking, kickboxing training, Thai boxing, right? They take up some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in order to learn joint locks on the ground. They take up, some wrestling to learn how to stick to someone. That's Tegumi, Okinawan grappling / wrestling. All these different things. That's why they call it mixed martial arts. But if you see, karate, true karate was the first form of everything. You understand what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So a lot of people don't understand their art, which is a major problem. And then let's take it a step further, and like, when you think of mixed martial arts, you get a guy who trained 6 months in mixed martial arts, learned a couple of techniques, but they just cardio him to death. They ran them through a lot of cardio drills. So you got this guy who knows some techniques kind of sloppily, haphazardly, but they're cardio machines, and they go out and win their championship. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's the quality of martial arts this day and age? And when you go to a mixed martial arts gym, everybody's friends. The senpai kohai relationship, the sensei student relationship, is a teaching tool. It's not a god complex like many people think it is. It's a teaching tool. But when you go into a gym where everybody's friends, and the student thinks he can beat the coach and this and that, and it's a bad dynamic. If you ever walk through one of those gyms, the atmosphere is not conducive to true learning. A lot of times, in my experience, and I've traveled the world and I've seen it. There are some that are very cohesive, and then a lot that are not. So there's a lot of things about the traditional dynamic that lend to the teaching dynamic and create the people that it creates. But because of people's lack of understanding of their art, karate and things like that, you get people who denounce it as being ineffective and this and that, and rightly so. But there are some, Rick Houghton, a gentleman, Shotokan practitioner, one of the most phenomenal people you'll ever see with the karate Giyan. And I challenge anyone to try to take him. And he's 60-something years old. Okay, Noriyasu Kudo Sensei, another one, phenomenal instructor, karate, judo, phenomenal practitioner, street fighter, competition champion, you name it. He's done it. He got arrested downtown for kicking parking meter heads off. Yeah.
Damn.
Andre Bertel, phenomenal Shotokan instructor. There's many people out there who understand their art, and then there's a large majority who don't and give karate and other traditional arts bad names,
Oh wow.
which make people laugh at it.
Yeah.
So I got a question to piggyback off of that, right? So what's the difference between all the mixed martial arts and karate and keto, right? Keto or taekwondo,
Aikido,
taekwondo,
Aiki-Jujutsu.
aikido. I mean, aikido and taekwondo. What's the difference between in the Western and over in Japan and China and all those other places? What's the difference between the two?
Well, all right. First, let's go back before World War II, right? In
Uh huh.
Japan, in Okinawa, before World War II, everything had a jutsu heading on it. So it was Karate-Jutsu, it was Aiki-Jujutsu, it was Jujutsu, it was you name it, Kenjutsu. Jutsu meant war art.
Mm.
After World War II, it became Do. They dropped Jutsu and put Do on it because it became a civilized time where there was no more war. So they wanted to build self-esteem in their people. So they put Do at the end. Do means the way. So now it became more of learning how to be a better person
Right.
as opposed to killing an enemy. You see what I mean?
Right. Right.
So that took away from a lot of the arts, that practice right there. Also, in Okinawa, their main focus was Goshin-Jutsu. Goshin means self-protection art, self-defense art. And when it became Japanese, when it went from Okinawa to mainland Japan, to Edo, to Tokyo, it became more of a sport. They started competitions, the All Japan Karate tournament, and things like that. So high kicks got introduced into the curriculum and all this other stuff. It became more of a sport. So the art took
Okay.
on a whole different meaning and way of application. What do I mean by that? Let's take a firearm. A firearm is a deadly weapon. Do we recognize that?
Yeah. Could be. Could be if it's
Firearm.
used in a certain way.
Firearm is most definitely a deadly weapon. Regardless how it's used, it will always be a deadly weapon.
Right.
But
Sure. Yeah. Right. Right.
but you can use it for target shooting, for sport shooting, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can hunt with it. You can use it for self-protection. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
let's take two sides. Let's take target shooting and self-protection. There are rules that govern the use of that firearm for target shooting that are very valid rules or concepts. One such concept is respiratory pause. A respiratory pause is the space from when you exhale and before you inhale again, right? So as you're targeting your firearm, as you're looking at the target and you're breathing and your hand is rising and lowering from the movement of your breath, when you pause between inhaling again, that's when you would pull the trigger. That's when you squeeze the trigger or depress the trigger, right? In order
Mm.
to release a round. And that's the most stable time of that firearm. So you
Wow.
might breathe 2 or 3 times and then pull the trigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very valid concept for targeting, but doesn't apply for the use of that firearm in a self-protection situation because gunfights happen within 4 to 5 feet of each other. And if you wait to breathe and wait for respiratory pause to pull the trigger, you're probably dead.
Yeah.
You understand?
Wow.
So it's a valid concept for targeting for sport shooting, but not valid for self-protection. Now let's step back inside the martial sciences. There are many things, concepts behind the use of techniques that are valid in sport or competition that don't translate well to self-protection in the use of that deadly weapon we call the martial arts.
Wow.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a major problem that people don't understand when it comes to the martial arts and the use of their art. So people will say a mixed martial artist is the best, has good self-defense. That's absolutely not true. We had a martial artist by the name of Anthony Smith who fought John Jones, who is arguably the greatest mixed martial artist to ever put on some MMA gloves. He is the GOAT of mixed martial arts. Anthony Smith fought him. Okay. So he fought the top in competition. Then a crackhead broke into his house and he couldn't do anything with that crackhead.
Wow.
Think about that. He's a highly trained mixed martial artist, but his art did not translate well to self-protection. He couldn't do anything with that crackhead. He punched him, he kicked, he did everything. Could not knock him out, could not do anything. He was totally fatigued. He went 3, 4, 5 rounds with John Jones, but couldn't fight a crackhead.
Damn.
You understand?
That crackhead must have been on some hard drugs, man.
Yeah, it's crack.
There's many factors in the street that don't translate well, you know?
Right. You know, I mean, they don't function very well in an uncontrolled environment.
Right. That's why I noticed like a lot of people with boxing, right? Like, what do you feel about boxing? Like, does boxing, because I've noticed that a boxer is more, they don't lose breath fast. A lot of them, they could keep on hitting, keep on knocking, like hitting you and don't lose breath. But MMA boxer that's in the MMA, they lose cardio fast. And I'm like, damn.
It's a different dynamic. First of all, have you noticed Jake Paul, who was a YouTube sensation? Matter of fact, before YouTube came out, they were the first influencers to become multimillionaires from video influencing, right?
Wow.
Before YouTube was a thing. This was before YouTube was a thing. And now he's a boxer. He's a YouTube influencer turned boxer, taking out the top in the MMA world, right?
Wow.
Because boxing and MMA are two different activities. An MMA practitioner is not conditioned to enter a boxing ring. It's just like Michael Jordan getting on a football field. He has cardio for days for basketball, but not for football.
It's different.
You understand?
Right.
MMA fighter has cardio for days for MMA. He doesn't have cardio for boxing in a boxing ring. 3-minute rounds, 12 rounds. They're not equipped to do that. You know what I'm saying?
I noticed that with guys like Conor McGregor and Mayweather, where Conor McGregor was he was trying to fight him in a MMA like his style, right? And I'm like, why is he trying to? And I noticed he got knocked the hell out quick. I'm like, damn.
Just think about it. I don't know how old you are, but back in my day, I'm old. Okay,
I'm 34. I'm 34.
I'm older than you. Yeah.
In a couple of days, I'll be 54.
See, I would love to get to your age and be as knowledgeable as you and Mr. Both of y'all.
Back in my day, when Superfoot Bill Wallace, who was the first middleweight kickboxing champion, undefeated, He went undefeated. When kickboxing's inception, he was the first middleweight champion. And Joe Louis was the first heavyweight champion. Not the boxer Joe Louis, the kickboxer Joe Louis. Okay?
White dude.
And so Superfit Bill Wallace fought Hitman Tommy Hearns, the boxer. Now, back in my day, what it used to be is you do what you do, I'll do what I do, and let's see what happens.
Yep.
This day and age, you'll take a MMA fighter and say, all right, let's get in the boxing ring. We're only boxing. Let's see who's better. A boxer saying that to an MMA fighter and saying, let's see who's better, and the MMA fighter agreeing to those rules is idiotic. That is idiotic. Why would a boxer or why would an MMA fighter limit himself to just boxing in a boxing ring with a professional boxer? It doesn't make sense.
Right. I mean, like one of the strategies, like one of the strategies would be that you notice that like Jake Paul and everybody else are doing when they're fighting these top guys from MMA and just straight boxing is it's smart, you know, because it makes it easy payday because they're taking people out of their environment and bringing them into theirs. You know what I mean? It's like a shark. Yeah, like me going hand to hand with a shark. Like, you know what? I'm gonna go in the water and fight the shark hand to hand instead of inviting him up here where I'm at.
Right. That's So if Jake Paul was in their environment, he'd get his ass whipped.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Right.
Exactly.
I get what you're saying. Exactly. I get exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
If somebody approached me, I would just tell them, you do what you do, I do what I do, let's see what happens. Just like it was back in my day with Superfit Bill Wallace, with Muhammad Ali fighting wrestlers. That's how it was. Muhammad Ali fought a wrestler. Yep. Wrestler wrestled, Muhammad Ali boxed, and they saw what happened. That's how it was back in the days. All this stuff now is just ridiculous.
So I got a question for you guys, right? Okay, who are some of the most influential mixed martial artists that influenced your style of fighting, and who influenced you to do what you're doing right now?
Well, the first person that got me training, believe it or not, was Sylvester Stallone with the Rocky movies. Everybody's got Bruce Lee. They got Pat Morita, you know, Karate Kid, all these kung fu movies. Nope, I got Rocky. You know, because because from the movies and everything, that is something I'm more familiar with. You know, so it got me started training, and it wasn't until I met my Sifu, Lisandro Vega, in Springfield, Massachusetts, that I saw that, you know, the style and the way that he was teaching and everything else was the best fit for what I was looking for. You know, as well as when I also got to meet my my grandmaster, God rest his soul, Young Mifu, where when it comes to my professional life, when I was working, you know, as a volunteer for law enforcement and corrections and things of that nature, to the professional level, his teaching has helped me a lot with that because he's been there and done that in that type of aspect. So I mean, I would have to say, you know, there will be Sylvester Stallone to help me get training and stuff of that nature, as well as Hulk Hogan. You know, eat your vitamins, say your prayers, all that good stuff. And then, but then finally was my Shifu and my my grandmaster.
Okay. Mr. Haskins.
First, my cousin. Without him, I wouldn't have got started. He gave me the window to peer through to see where my life was going to go by kicking me. Then my instructors, definitely my instructors, Mark Whitley Sensei, Takeshi Okamoto Sensei, Noriyasu Kudo Sensei is a great influence behind what I do. And then Pat Campagnola Sensei. Just watching them and seeing how the arts are supposed to be done definitely influenced me. Rick Houghton Sensei of the Shotokan group. Um, that right there. And then I have just friends that train who I look up to and really appreciate just them sharing with me their information, But people like that. Um, that's pretty much it.
Wow. You know, because it's crazy because I learned a lot of stuff by having by having martial artists on my show and everything, by having them on here, and I've learned a lot of shit. Like y'all have taught me so much that a lot of them didn't come close to telling. You know what I mean? So what was the most? How do y'all handle all of that knowledge? How do y'all handle that in a like an environment of a big crowd? How do you display it?
Again, it's not something I do, it's who I am.
Okay,
So
sorry about that. You know.
yeah, everything about me is my art. It's just, you know, oh, that's all I can say. It's just
Um,
it's everything about me. So if you
yeah,
talk to
so
anybody who knows me, and they'll tell you that, you know, this is the path that I walk. So there's no separation. There's nothing for me to do but be me, and people will see it through what I
Right.
do. And then you make the connection when you come to my school and you see me teach or train or interact with people in general. You can see the connection.
Awesome. Very awesome. So, Mr. Cardona. So, what made you jump to the movie screens with the knowledge of martial arts and everything?
the
Martial arts.
I've done a couple now. Back in the '90s, after I got out of after I got out of lockup, the I was introduced to some people that were doing Chinese line dancing for New Year's, and they needed somebody to work with the young kids to do stuff on stage. So I volunteered at the Vietnamese American Civic Association in Springfield, Massachusetts for 7 years. I worked with the children on line dancing and martial arts. So we did a lot of stage fighting. So in other words, if you want something to look like it was in a movie but on stage, that's what I did. So I made it look professional. You see like Jet Li fighting against Jackie Chan and stuff like that. That's what I did. And then I took a couple of auditions and did some fighting choreography in a couple of small amateur clips. And then from there, there's one with I did in New York as a semi stunt guy with I forgot his name, but I can probably email him to you. And called with a project called Under the Gun. So I saw the cameras and all these other things. And I was like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. And then the editing. So I was like, you know what? Let me try that. And through my through knowing how to write police reports and stuff very well, that translates into writing scripts, things of that nature. Which, speaking of that, there's one that I've written or a few that I've written for Mr. Randy himself, in codename Michael. Hoping to get that up as soon as I get, as soon as I'm able to get the money up for it. And another thing would be that I'm tired of seeing movies where like cliche. I want to bring
Right.
something a little fresh. It might be the same a bit, but also different. And in how martial arts is really portrayed, as far as when you're looking to do something in an uncontrolled environment on screen.
Right. So I got a question. What do y'all think about Michael Jai White? Do y'all think that he's like, what are the things that Michael Jai White does that translate to a lot of the guys in the industry of what y'all do?
Are you talking about movies or martial arts in general?
Martial arts, myself. I'm sorry about that. Martial arts. Sorry about that. So I thought it was like I thought y'all got what I was saying. Martial arts, basically. Martial arts, basically.
I mean, to me, he's very sharp. What he does is very technical. especially knowing how to break something down as far as when he's teaching it to somebody. I really like the way he does things. I haven't seen anything that I would complain about. So, I really think he's doing pretty good, with the exception of when it comes to movies, that he should get himself, with the exception of a Black Dynamite. I love that one. That's great. And a couple other movies. I really think he should get himself a good fighting choreographer.
Right.
That's able to bring out his best qualities and everything that he can do on film.
Right. Right. What do you think? What do you think, Mr. Haskins?
He's a very talented dude. He's very talented dude. I give him that. I have he's a very talented dude.
I saw your face. I'm like, yeah.
There's certain things. But some of those, but the majority of those things are so minute. That it's just, it is what it is.
That's very understandable. Very understandable. Yeah. Go ahead.
Now, so every year I go out to this the mega martial arts weekend in Atlantic City. Pretty much every year. Past year, probably past 2 years, we had a COVID thing, so that didn't happen. And then
I live like 5 minutes, like 10 minutes away from Atlantic City.
Yeah. Every year in January we have it, and there's over 100 seminars that you can join in. So I teach out there as well. I taught out there a couple of years, seminars and stuff. Michael Jai White teaches seminars out there. We're all out there together. Chuck Zito, Michael Jai White, Cynthia Rothrock, you name it. Who's who in martial arts is out there. Anyway, so I bring my fiance for the first time, and we're at the meet and greet. Okay, Michael walks in with his wife, and my fiance sees him and is like, "Oh my God, I want to go say hi to him." I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead, do you? I want to get his autograph." "Yeah, all right." So she goes over there and asks him if he would take a picture with her, and he goes, "Nah, I don't do that."
Wow.
So she comes over to me and is like, "Wow," she's highly disappointed. But I told her sometimes sometimes it's best you don't meet your idols. I had told her that while we were driving out there, right? So she was highly disappointed. Okay, first time in this environment. I'm in this environment all the time around these people. First time she's in this environment. So she comes over highly disappointed, but I wanted her to experience this on her own. That's why I didn't stop. So she comes back over disappointed, and then I go, look. About 5 minutes later, he's over there taking pictures with people. You understand what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So he turned her down, wouldn't take a picture, and then he's over there taking pictures with other people. Okay? Yeah. Then at the same event, I'm at my table. I got my table set up, and I'm signing autographs and doing all this stuff. He has his table set up somewhere else. He's signing autographs. Then he does an interview in the room I'm supposed to teach in. Okay? He has his own area to teach in, but he does an interview in the room I'm supposed to teach in for whatever reason. And I'm standing in front. His cousin is standing in front of my table, and we're talking. All right. His cousin's name is Grant Campbell. He's standing in front of the table, and we're talking back and forth. Me and his cousin take a picture, and then he comes out the room, and I say, "Hey, Mike, let's take a picture." He goes, "Nah, I got a car waiting for me." I was like, "Oh, all right." Then he proceeded to stand there in front of my table for another 20 minutes, half hour. Wow. I say all that to say this. Sometimes it's best not to meet your idols. You understand what I mean?
Right.
So he's good at what he does, but that was very disheartening. Just how he treated my fiance, and the little things like that. So I don't know what the dynamic is, what's going on, but that's a problem to me. Now, as far as
Yeah.
his art, a lot of people, he does some great things. He's good at what he does. Nobody can tell anybody about their personal art, their respective art, their karate, their gung fu, their whatever it is. Nobody can say anything because it's so personal. But there's a lot of things about traditional karate, the way people present it, that I don't agree with. That doesn't make too much sense. For example, a lot of people talk about the art, like concept of blocking and all this stuff, right?
Yep.
But if we watch two people get into a street fight, how many punches do you think will actually be thrown if the punch is not successful, which the majority of the time it's not? Somebody throws a punch at somebody covers up and grabs them in a bear hug or clinch type thing, and it's one of those tussling style fights. That's the majority of street fights.
Right. Yeah.
Punching being successful is very short-lived or not really a prevalent thing because people always cover up. Right? So if the act of punching is this successful in a street fight, right? Why is the concept of blocking this much of karate training?
Wow.
Doesn't make sense.
That's true.
And Michael Jai White and all these people talk about blocking all the time, all this blocking stuff. Those motions are not actually blocking. You understand? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't happen in a street fight like that. When you get in a street fight, what happens is two people start just trying to punch each other. Nobody blocks something. You might shield against something, but you don't block. Those motions are not functional techniques, meaning designed to fight with. Those are motions designed to build attributes in training. They're not designed to fight with, but people present them as things to fight with, and they actually use them that way or try to or present them that way to students. Doesn't make sense. So he falls in that category, as far as that goes. But he's very phenomenal at a lot of things he does. The whole concept behind kicking and the stuff he does, phenomenal. And very athletic to be so big. Very athletic.
Right. And for his age too.
Yep. But the way he treated my fiance, very disheartening.
Right.
And
yeah. That's why it's like, some of the people that I had on the show, to be honest with you, a lot of them are standoffish. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I go to them after the show and I'm like, damn, like what did I do? I'm just, trying to talk to you, get to know you. And it's like quiet. Like, I'm like, damn, like y'all people that I looked at on the TV as I was growing up, and now y'all just like, now that I get to know y'all assholes, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm like, damn, like, and it's crazy because, me as a person, you know what I'm saying, I'm very outspoken when it comes to talking to people that I watched growing up, you know what I'm saying? Because I love learning. I love learning from people like that. I love to learn. And you see how I was just sitting there quiet and listening. That's what I do. I like to learn because a lot of people are like, such as yourself and Mr. Cardona over here smoking a cigar. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all two are very knowledgeable in what y'all doing, and like, I've learned so much now here than what I've learned when I had some of the guys on the show, and a lot of them was scared to tell me certain stuff, and I'm like, why is they scared? Why is they like scared to tell me certain stuff? You know what I mean?
Yeah, one of the reasons behind that is you'll be surprised how much politics is in martial arts. Period. The ego's involved. That's another reason why I asked Mr. Randy Haskins Sensei to come on, because I know for a fact that he'll speak his mind. He doesn't answer in political correctness and things of that nature. And that's what I also thought that you needed for what you wanted to do as well. Not just me saying it, but it's two different people from somewhat different backgrounds and different styles that's able to come in and say pretty much the same thing.
Right. So, how did, your art, your karate and the martial arts translate to bounty hunting? How did that translate to that? Like,
Well,
was it a good transition or was it
absolutely.
me?
See, here's the thing. My art, when I first started training, I had no idea what I recognized later on that I had no idea in the early years what I was looking for. I understood that I wanted to learn karate, but once I achieved I hold 4 black belts and a purple belt. Okay, uh, once I got my first black belt, I recognized some issues with karate, and that's some of the stuff I just spoke on with the blocking and all this other stuff. I recognized I didn't understand things the way I should. So my focus at that point became strictly self-defense, self-protection focused arts.
Right.
The lens I looked at my art through was strictly for real life, not competition, not whatever. And then later on, a couple of years later, I ended up earning my second degree black belt, and that's when I recognized I need some deeper understanding. So I started bounty hunting, bodyguarding. I started bouncing. I did anything that would get me into a fight legally, and that's when I developed and really understood what I was doing. Then I started working in a prison, and that was 22 years of free practice, or paid practice, I should say.
Damn, how many prisoners you put down?
With paid suspensions.
Man, that's another thing. I've never been suspended, but I've been through a lot of shit.
Shit, I have.
And you have never had a fight till you fought somebody who murdered somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So all those people who think they're fighters, you don't know what it is to fight someone until you fought somebody who's actually murdered somebody. Okay? Because think about this. Someone who murdered somebody, the governor is off.
Yep.
They will cross that line again. You understand? There is no governor on regulating their intention, their speed, their desire. You know what I'm saying? They will go all out every time. So that's a true fight. No restrictions in that fight. So I quickly understood that, I adjusted a lot of things, and I learned what the arts, what these motions were for. Just because tools have a specific use and specific way of use, right? Tool and technique is the same word. A tool represents something outside of yourself. Technique represents you as the tool, right? And a tool is designed to work for anyone, against anyone at any given time. A tool is designed to work no matter what. If you go outside and see your car tires flat and you grab that tool we call a jack, it will lift the car. It will lift that 2,000-pound vehicle effortlessly because it's designed to do that. Tool, technique, same word. Tool represents something outside of yourself, like a jack. Technique represents you as the tool. A technique is designed to work for anyone, against anyone at any given time. And what will allow you to do it? The understanding of how to use that tool. If you don't know how to use your car jack, it's not going to lift the car. Right? So the only thing you actually need is understanding and the technique and the tool. You know what I'm saying? So,
sorry.
No, go.
To add on to that, I mean, if a carpenter builds a house and the car breaks down, do you blame the carpenter? Do you blame the carpenter or the hammer?
The hammer.
If the carpenter doesn't know how to use his tools, that's where people like to talk about the tool. Let's say the tool is the style, the technique, or whatever, and people say the technique doesn't work because you don't have the understanding of it. And Same thing like a carpenter, somebody paving the roads or whatever, an engineer. If you don't understand what you're doing with your tools, you know, and learn how to apply it well, it's gonna come out crappy. You know, I'm a big proponent of how you train is how you what do you call it? I mean, well, let's just say how you train is how you perform.
Right.
You know, so you train in such a way that you understand what you're doing to be able to apply it in the situation that you're in. You know, so
it's like practicing. That's like basically when you play football. The way you practice is the way you're going to perform on when it's time to play. When it's time to play, if you're
that's correct.
practicing physically and playing physical, that's how you're going to play physically when it's time to really play. You know what I'm saying? If you're
Right.
playing soft, you're going to play soft when it's time to play. You know what I'm saying?
We gotta go deeper than that, because the
Right.
martial arts is such a unique activity. You know,
Okay.
I mean, we can't put it in terms of football, because you know there's times when you have to play soft. There's times when you have to play hard. You
Right.
know, there's times, just like with the martial sciences, there's times when it's gonna call for a soft approach, a soft touch. If you watch Vasyl Lomachenko, you watch boxing?
Yeah, I grew up.
You watch
Watching.
Vasyl Lomachenko?
Mm-hmm.
You familiar with Lomachenko?
Not really. I'm familiar with everybody else, but
he's
it's
great.
like, you know.
Well, Loma is probably one of the technically most sound boxers in the world. Loma. Vasyl Lomachenko. He'll come through and jab you up real light, like throw like 6 nice light jabs, and then drill you with a nice heavy cross or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And the light jabs are just setting the cross up. You know what I mean? So there, you know, sometimes you got to be light, sometimes you got to be hard. But when it comes to like what Jason's saying is, imagine you driving down the Jersey Turnpike, no man's land as we call it, right? Yeah, you could drive for hours and not see anything but bricks, and it's crazy.
Woods. Anyway,
yeah. You know, so you're driving down the Jersey Turnpike, and you have a full toolbox in your trunk, and your car breaks down, and you pull over and you open the hood, but you have no idea what you're looking at. What good are the tools?
Not good, because you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Those tools represent techniques. Okay.
Right.
Now the same scenario: you're driving down the Jersey Turnpike, car breaks down, you have no tools on board, but you pull over, you open the hood, and oh man, that hose is supposed to be hooked up. The clamp must have broke. I got a hanger in the back of my car. You go to the back of the car, you grab a hanger, you bend it 17 times, it heats up and breaks. You wrap it around, you fix it in place where it holds that hose in place. You got a bottle of water that you were drinking, you pour it in the radiator, and you get back on the road, get into your location. You had no tools on board, but you had all the knowledge in the world of what you were looking at. What would tools have done for you? It would have made the process easier. That's it.
Yeah.
You had all the knowledge and you still fixed it. So tools, they're nice to have, but not needed. They just make the effort easier. That's it. You wouldn't have had to bend the hanger 17 times. You would have took some dikes and clipped the hanger, and there you go. You would have cut it with one swipe instead of bending it 17 times. So it would have just made the effort easier. You see what I'm saying? Right. So techniques are nice to have, but not actually needed. Information's more important. But if you have techniques to go with the information, you make the effort easier.
Right.
That's the important part about the martial sciences. It's the understanding, and then the constant repetition of your everything you do physically should be a physical manifestation of your understanding, because you can rep out bad information. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you have bad information, you can still rep out techniques that support that bad information and still not be able to do well in fighting. You see what I'm saying? And that's a representation of a lot of martial artists out there. They're repping out bad information, so they still can't really fight too well or address violence. So information is the key. And that's what separates some people from others, like Rick Houghton Sensei, Andre Patel Sensei, people like that, Kudo Sensei. That's what I pride my school on. The information is sound, so everything we do physically supports that sound information. As compared to a lot of information that's out there that just doesn't make sense. So when I talk to instructors and we're talking about stuff like, I say, well, explain to me how what you just said makes sense. And a lot of them can't, they're like, oh. Now they're really thinking about what you're right. That really doesn't make sense. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I could tell you intimidate somebody. I could tell you'll be able to intimidate somebody with the way you're looking at it, like, oh, say it. Go ahead. Hey, I'm like, damn. I'm like, oh, all right, Sensei. Damn. Like, are you right, man? But I get what you said, though.
To answer your question that you asked earlier about the future of martial arts, that's the future of martial arts. A lot of things that people are doing, and that's what my books address. A lot of my books address that, is the fact that a lot of information being perpetuated doesn't really make sense. So that's why I ask, or I say, I'm well aware the exception doesn't make the rule. But what happens when the exception makes more sense than the rule? And what I mean by that is, what everybody's doing primarily right now is the rule because everybody's doing it. But does it really make sense? The concept of blocking and all this ridiculous stuff doesn't make sense because fighting doesn't happen that way.
True that. I got something to ask you guys, and I would love to have you on the show. Mr. Haskins, for your own personal show, personal interview, to promote your books and everything, promote your dojo and everything. I would love to have you on the show. You too, Mr. Cardona. You know what I'm saying? Talk more, have a second interview. Huh?
I'm a little shy.
I'm always available. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. I've always wondered, right? Who are some of your favorite mixed martial artists that y'all have watched growing up that just basically y'all would love to work with or would have loved to work with, if that y'all would have loved to work with, had they not passed on and everything.
In what manner?
And like movies or like just being taught their art and just basically just getting more information, more knowledge.
There's one guy that I would have loved to, but he's passed away. God rest his soul. La Galion. I was actually able to interview his disciple Mark Houghton in Hong Kong, and able to do an episode on that. So, when I get back to Massachusetts, I'll be taking a week off to work on the editing, along with a few other things. But La Galion, he made movies with Sammo Hung, if you're familiar with that name. Jackie Chan. But he was phenomenal, not just on the screen, but as a martial arts instructor. I have some videos that I downloaded, seeing him teach and how he explains it and things like that I thought was absolutely great. So, I'll be, when I visit Hong Kong again, I'll be looking to meet up with Mark Houghton again, and possibly do not for filming per se, but maybe trying to absorb some knowledge from the man. But La Galion was one of the main people I always wanted to do a project with, as well as Sylvester Stallone.
That's your favorite. Go ahead, Mr. Haskins.
As far as myself, mixed martial artist, I'm a John Jones fan.
Yes, he is.
He's very good at what he does. Very good. And like I said, he probably is the truest GOAT going in MMA. As far as martial artists in general, I love to meet Rick Houghton. He lives in Florida, I believe. He teaches seminars all over the world. And as far as actors go, I'd like to work or I'd like to meet Jackie Chan because
Awesome.
he's phenomenal at what he does as well, and his understanding of the ultimate goal of training, the physical aspect of training, is to learn how to use your human body to its fullest capacity. Jackie Chan has definitely achieved that ability.
Yeah, he does his own stunts. I was told.
Everything about him is, yes, he does everything. He does things that, yes, he's those
He a
three.
monster. Yeah, I
Yeah.
grew up watching him, man, and it was like when I first saw him do his own stunts. It was like the behind the scenes. It was on Rush Hour, and I'm like, this nigga, like he's so fast, like, and he moves, and like, I'm like, wow. Like
Mhm.
when I first heard about him, I'm like, this guy gotta be, you know, have he hurt himself doing his own stunts? Yeah, of course he did, but he made a lot of money doing it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Made a
Well,
lot of money doing it.
here's one thing you got to understand, especially with the Hong Kong industry. A lot of stuntmen, you'd be surprised how little they get paid. So,
Yeah.
and they're excellent martial artists and everything else. Now, what you see on screen, you see them doing big double flips and all this other stuff, and they walk away unscathed. Believe it or not, the majority of the time when they get hurt is simply just taking a bad step off the stairs.
Damn. Damn.
All of a sudden they slip. They do all that stuff and then cut. All right, cool. And all of a sudden they slip. Oh shit! I broke something. Believe it or not.
I've always looked at it as like, like a lot of like, do y'all think that Jason Statham, do you think he's a mixed martial artist or he's just learning that as fighting in movies?
No, he's a martial artist. He is. He's
Wow.
he's a legitimate martial artist. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he definitely surprised me with his first movie, the first time I seen him do martial arts was The Transporter. I seen him there, like, what the hell? He moves like that? That's a damn mind.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like all the Transporter movies was some of my favorite movies because I got to see what I really, really, really am. I really enjoy seeing that type of fighting style. I really enjoy seeing fast kicking, ass kicking type of shit. Like that's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I never was taught. I never found somebody that actually want to take the time out to teach me. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the people that I asked, they were like, "Well, I'm too busy and da 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 da." And I'm like, "Man, look, I'm willing to learn everything." I've had one person I've had yet to get in touch with him, but I really understand how y'all feel, man. Like I would want to get paid for y'all services, and I really much understand, because a lot of the stuff that you're doing, you're giving the knowledge, but not everybody is going to take that knowledge, and you know what I'm saying.
Well, not everybody's built for it either.
No, they're not.
I only train adults because I'm too rough for most adults. Never mind children, so I don't even train children. But you ever watch the movie 300?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You see when the hunchback was on top of the mountain and he approached Leonidas with his father's shield, and he requested to be a part of their fighting force, and Leonidas said, "Lift your shield," and he couldn't lift his shield, and then Leonidas explained to the hunchback that the weakest part of their phalanx would be the death of them all, and if you couldn't lift your shield, then you are the weakest part. Not everybody's built to do this type thing. That is a powerful scene because that's how it is. Not everybody's made to be a doctor. Not everybody's made to be a lawyer. Not everybody's made to be a host. Yeah, you understand? Not everybody's made to be in the dojo doing what we do. So you can't make it here, then go and join this or go play basketball or badminton or whatever it might be. Not everybody's made for this. So all those schools, that's another thing when it comes to business. My new book has a section, a chapter in it called The Business of Martial Arts. And it speaks on this dynamic, how the business of it makes instructors who have storefronts and want to keep their lights on just accept anyone, regardless if they're made for it or not, just to keep their lights on. You see what I mean? And that's a problem within the martial sciences. Everybody has a station in life. Some people are not. I'm not designed to be a surgeon. I don't want to be looking in people's bodies and pulling organs out and doing. I don't want to do that. That's not my thing. And I've sat in operating rooms as a correction officer with prisoners who were chained to the bed while they're being operated on and being cut open, and they're under. You understand? And I've watched doctors do this stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this is horrible," because that's not my calling.
Yeah, I mean, if we were in the medical field, we specialize in injuries.
See,
we make people in the hospital.
Yeah.
You have a lot of comments in the comments. You have hello, hope all is well, happy face. The Service USA LLC.
That is me.
Oh, okay. They set the fire. They set the fire. 4 American flags and praise hands. You know what I'm saying? 2 fires. Sorry, Rayla Powell said, "Sorry, I'm late. I was eating dinner and delicious stew and garlic bread and what I missed." She just had to say it all like that. I'm hungry as hell, but interesting. And Bernadette Watkins Robinson said, "Common story and controlled versus uncontrolled environment." And she said none when I said what the hell is that word out? Who well, whatever, skip. Sorry about that. Bounty Powell Rayla Powell said, "Bounty hunting too cool. Wow," and noted and sweet. All right, see now, yo, man, like this was like y'all did a lot of shit. Like this is amazing. Like,
well, martial arts is all about exploring. So we put ourselves in positions to explore it in a deeper, to get a deeper understanding of what we do and how we do it. And not many people do that. They want to stick to the controlled environments, not get out of comfort zone. And basically, they like to stay in places as what Mr. Haskins Sensei book described. I have it, by the way, signed. He explained basically the concept of what we call a McDojo. They take anybody, they give them bad information, which does a huge disservice because they don't seem to, well, they understand, they just don't care.
Right.
How life-changing and necessary true martial knowledge is supposed to be taught, and when they go out with all this bad information, and believe it or not, when I was working corrections for juveniles, I wrote up a smart program, to help with anger issues and stuff like that with the juveniles, and I gave it to the higher authorities, as I like to call them, and instead of getting me to teach it, they tried to hire somebody else from Long Meadow who had a Tai Chi guy, well, supposedly, and he could not teach at all, because this is something that I put up with somebody at my mentality to be able to pull off. And and at the same time, like, for example, I don't just take anybody. I have one student, he was my grandmaster student until he passed away. So I decided to he asked me, and we decided that I was going to be a teacher from now on. Now, as far as when it comes to kids, I let the parents know straight up, I am not a daycare center. I can teach a child, but you will not interfere in how I teach it in the manner that I teach it. And they have a big problem with that, so they end up leaving. Because again, like Haskins Sensei said, I mean, people just want to keep the lights on, things of that nature. I can't do that, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, driving trucks. And I don't like driving trucks, but it gets me where I want to go as far as financially, to be able to film my own projects, start up my websites and all these other things, so I can continue teaching and practicing
You
martial arts.
know, it's crazy. Like I'm working on doing my own pilot for my comic book thing. I don't know if
Mm.
y'all saw my comic book. I don't know if y'all saw any of my art.
Is it the sergeant? No, not the sergeant. It's
The Marine mixed with an
yeah,
angel.
there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jarhead. I would like to talk to both of you guys
Uh-oh.
to see if we can work together. Just knowledge and basically just learning from about what you guys have to, maybe maybe y'all can help me, or maybe I can actually add y'all as characters in the book. You know,
Nice.
I actually what I want to do is bring the people that had actually gave me the knowledge to really learn this stuff. Like, even if I'm getting hurt or whatever, I still want to learn it because I just want to master the things that I was told I couldn't. You know what I'm saying? And really do it and really focus on it. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to basically do things, live on the edge. You know what I'm saying? You never know what can happen. You never know. You may get into a fight and it may be death threatening. So you may have to get into a fight and you may have to put somebody down quick. So you never know. You know what I mean? You never know what can happen in this world today. You never know. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I want to learn and stuff because I learned how to box because I have boxers in my family. All of them are golden gloves and everything, so I know how to fight when it comes to boxing and everything. But when it comes to like really concentrating on the hands and stuff like that, it's it's kind of difficult because like what I'm saying, I'm so used to like going in and really like just going in angry, and so I want to like channel that and really get to the core of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, Randy's
But
about 2.5, 3 hour drive away, and you know, I'll be setting up in online courses later on in the future, either by
oh, not a
myself or my
problem.
Sifu.
Oh, not a
So
problem. You know
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
you also have our you have our emails, I believe, and you also have us on Facebook. So I mean, you can always contact us there and see if we do plan a bit, see how
Oh
you want to
yeah,
do it.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
for like another thing I noticed, like in the comic book stuff, one of the things that I can do as far as I was looking into taking a couple of my film scripts from the Forged by
Mhm.
Fire series, which is part of the Codename Michael's, which is where Codename Michael is part as well, Forged by Fire series, and maybe do like a little comic book thing on that as well.
Well, I mean, I could
You
talk to a couple of my
to,
guys to see what we can come up with.
you
You already got the idea down. You already got the uh the mind for it. You just have to have the body of work within the book for the book and everything,
mm.
and the colorist and all that stuff that comes with it. Passe. I can talk to a couple of my guys to see if I can work that out with you. Because like I said, well, go ahead, talk to me.
By the way, Randy, didn't you have like a couple comic books out before
No,
yourself?
you see the poster behind me.
Ah! There you go.
Oh, okay, okay,
That is
okay, okay.
that was something designed. It's this is a picture that's going in my new book
Mm.
under the chapter entitled The Martial Universe, which is a play on the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about different things that I've been through, which it the chapter talks about how having uh, true martial skill is the closest one will ever come to being a true superhero.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell
Having
yeah.
superpowers, pretty much. And this is the cover or the picture that goes with that chapter.
You know, I would love to have you as a guest. Maybe we could do shit. Maybe we could do it whenever you're free. I can
I'm
I'll
I'm I'm free all the time. You let me know.
He's retired. He can take whatever time off he wants.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
when it comes to me, you can find me in between loads that I'm hauling. We'll take it from there.
Yeah, pause.
how, oh, how about okay? How about this? How about this? How about we set it up for I say Tu- Tuesday, Tuesday 8 o'clock.
All right. I'm down.
Okay, Tuesday 8 o'clock. You know what I mean? Um, I also, you know what I'm saying. I also got something to show y'all after the show. You know what I'm saying? But
Oh,
I would like to take us out in a minute. But I would like to say I would like for y'all to like and subscribe to the show, to the channel, and like and hit that notifications bell to get all that is the In Your Face show, baby. You know, because the In Your Face show is the place to be. And if you ain't here, I don't know where you at. I don't know where you at. I don't know. But thank y'all for watching. It's been very well with the guys. These guys, very knowledgeable, kick ass. But that's all we have for y'all, folks. This has been an In Your Face show.
thank you for having us.
Oh, y'all. Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're always welcome.